Hello, this is Jerry McDonald along with Dan Brown. We're at Nissan Stadium in Nashville, Tennessee after the Raiders' 26-16 win over the Tennessee Titans to open the regular season. It was a pretty impressive overall first win, I thought. Much different than, say, like last year's hectic 35-34 win over New Orleans.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of questions got answered today, right? I mean, there was questions about the defense, there was questions about Marshawn Lynch, there was questions about this new kicker and whether he could step in for Janikowski, and all three phases, all three questions, the answer was yes. Everything turned out okay.
Yeah. I thought Derek Carr's performance was really measured and composed and smart. He was 22 of 32 for 262 and 2 touchdowns. He didn't force anything. He didn't really come close to a turnover. I thought he managed the offense. He got the ball to different guys. And it's weird because, Carr is almost like the third or fourth guy down the list when you talk about the guys that did things in that game, and that's unusual for the Raiders.
Right. Well, that's one of the things. They scored 26 points, and there's a lot of talk after the game about the points they left on the field. Derek Carr admitted to missing some throws. There were 3 attempted connections at the goal line, all to Amari Cooper, all that just missed. Carr also missed a shot downfield to kind of a wide open Marshawn Lynch, and Carr said those are, both of those situations are on me. He just missed the throw, and he read Lynch's, he thought he was going to zig, or just one of those that was a broken play. So they cleaned that kind of stuff up. This offense could be really, really potent.
Yeah, I think Lynch answered a lot of questions. I mean, he looked like he looked in Seattle in 2014, not the 2015. Now he's got to play a lot more games, obviously, and he could get, injuries can happen at any time. But he seemed as elusive, not elusive so much for him. He's taken on guys. He ran over Gerald Casey late in the game just on a 3rd and 6 play, just trucked him. It was a vintage Lynch play.
That's the thing. I mean, it wasn't. You look at the stat sheet and say whatever it was. I think it was 18 carries for 74 yards, somewhere in that range. It wasn't the stats. It was how he ran. He was breaking tackles. He was taking on 4 or 5 guys at a time. It was that whole beast mode thing. And I think the Raiders needed a guy like that. They had a 4th and 1 on one of the early series, and they got it because Lynch was that guy who got that 1 yard. And if he's going to run like that, this is a pretty good storyline.
Yeah, and the beauty is that they helped him. He closed out the game, or helped them close out the game, and that's precisely what they got him for. They couldn't have written that part up any better. And finally, Giorgio Tavecchio. Who would have figured? He had field goals of 20, 52, 52, and 43 yards. And it's funny, after the game, his first kick was on a 20-yard, or was on an extra point after the Raiders scored a touchdown. And they reviewed the play, and he had to wait for it, and he said he was nervous. I mean, because that was his first place kick. Boy, who would have known what was going to come after that?
Yeah, I like what Derek Carr said after the game too. He said we all know this guy's story, what a long road it's been. He's been in and out of several NFL camps. He was with the Niners. He was with he's been with the Raiders a few times. He always gets cut because there's a more experienced kicker. So they, not only did he have a great game, but they say, having seen the journey, knowing what this guy went through and all the disappointments he's had to this point, it's kind of neat to see it pay off.
Great performance to come in and give us what we needed. We ended up asking him to make a couple 50-yarders, 50-plus. He made 2 of them on the day. All 3 of his field goal attempts kicked off real well. So he played excellent for us. That's kind of what we're looking to get. Put our guys in a situation to succeed and have them come through. And got to give the young man a lot of credit. Really.
Mm-hmm. Finally, the Raiders defense, the much maligned Raiders defense, did some good things today. I mean, they only gave up 6 points in the second half. They did give up 5.6 yards per play, which is still high, but Mariota was carving them up on 3rd down early, and then late, not so much. Carl Joseph made a really good play in the end zone to break up a potential touchdown. Nick Morrow, the rookie, had a big stop on a 3rd and short play that forced a field goal attempt. I think this team, they know their reputation, and they're trying to show that they're something a lot better than people think they are.
Zone, they've got a physical offensive line, some really good backs, and we didn't let them get loose. It was a good effort, and they do a lot of different motions and shifts and things you got to be ready for. We spent a lot of time preparing, and it was good to see that preparation come through.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they know not to go crazy too, because they played well defensively in last year when they played at Tennessee. It's a pretty good matchup for them apparently. They kept Mariota in check. He didn't get loose with his arm. He didn't get loose with his legs, aside from a 10-yard touchdown run. So they played, like you said of the offense, they played smart.
Mm-hmm. Well, overall, I thought it was a real well-coached, well-prepared looking team. We talked a lot about a lot of the distractions they've had this offseason from the move to Vegas and several other things, but they showed no signs of any of that. And this was by a very impressive first win. And by the way, the first time they've won consecutive openers since 2001 and 2002.
Oh.
This is Jerry McDonald with Dan Brown at Nissan Stadium, signing off.